Cool. Yeah, so we've got 1,000+ members now in our little Facebook group in just under 9 months. So it's a great success story. But also we want to understand how that we can help you. So is that by educating you, helping you, inspiring you. And so one of the thoughts that come up, and what I do is read or audio, etc. So I put a little poll in the Facebook group this week just to gauge what people wanted to see. I think mindset came top when the last time I looked at it. So so we're not just going to do mindset, but if anybody's got suggestions, if anybody wants to present their own book, etc., then that's fine as well. So it's just something that I thought might be of interest to people. We get a 10 or 15 minute slot on tonight. Personally, the way I'm thinking of it is that it mostly just be once a month, because it's going to be hard for people to read a book every couple of weeks. So maybe once a month, or maybe do a Facebook Live or something like that, just to get it going. So this month's book is this. It's called Let It Go. It's not Frozen by Frozen at all. It's by a guy called David Rahman, and it's basically well, it's just a book I've just read, number one, so that's why I've chosen it. Number two, I met the author in October, November last year at a business networking meeting in Hampshire. He just happened to be there. And number three, it's practical, so it's like a toolkit really. So there's got lots of scenarios in it. It's quite an easy read, and it's got exercises and different scenarios for people as well. So so what I thought was we have a quick, I'll do the quick intro on it, go through a couple of other passages of showing you what the chapters are, and then just quickly, because I've only got 10 minutes here, so quickly just do an exercise at the end of it that you can go away with. You can either do it, don't do it, well, up to you, but it might just get some people thinking of what we do. So what I'll do first is quickly just go through I've got to put my glasses on because I can't bloody read. Is just go through why Let It Go. You know, what was the sort of fundamental behind it really. So learning to let it go is a fundamental to changing your life. I believe it's the key to helping people release themselves from the negative thinking which is currently keeping them feeling unhappy. It is easier said than done and difficult to install as a habit and something you need to commit to on a moment by moment basis. It's particularly tricky when it comes to releasing yourself from behaviours and deep thought patterns that have become habitual. Think of something that you couldn't do previously, but which you now can do quite easily. It could be learning to drive, speaking a foreign language, or even cooking a 3-course meal for some important dinner guests. Think of something that you achieved that you never thought was possible. For me, it was public speaking. The thought that I'd be able to produce of it was panic and nausea. Why? Because when I thought I was in front of an audience, I had my fears, and include being judged, not being liked, looking stupid, fluffing your lines and not being interested. So to become an accomplished speaker, I had to let go of those limitations that I imposed on myself. Now I can speak in front of 1,000 people. Letting go could involve letting go of a conversation you've had this morning in the office with a certain colleague, which has left you feel disgruntled. You start to replay the negative baggage from this conversation at various points in a day with a variety of people. Every time you discuss how you feel about that conversation, it strengthens the anger and annoyance within you. By the evening, you find yourself at boiling point. Throughout the day, you've received opinions from a whole host of people, some of which have been reinforced your anger, others you would have chosen to ignore, as you remain adamant about your version of the conversation. By the time you're ready to go to bed, unfortunately, your mind is entirely consumed with events of the day, and as a result, you're unable to fall asleep. Have you ever experienced like that? So it's quite common then for people to hold on to events well past their sell-by dates, and as a result, not letting go. So just some other examples then of what you could let go. The need to be liked, the need to be right, the need to have the last word, the need to feel successful in comparison with others, the need to meet aggression with aggression, the need to have your say on something petty, picking over the past in your mind, should have said, could have been, might have been different if, the urge to think forward to your future, the need to avoid being poor, the need to control others, the habit of asking yourself the same question, although the question itself is self-perpetuating. on a negative loop. Why do relationships keep falling and failing after 6 months, for example? The habit of focusing on the negative. I hate my job, rather than thinking, I would love my job, or I would love a new job. So you've got to think about, do any of those resonate with you personally? So through the whole book, there's different chapters, obviously, looking at definition of thinking, how you react, how toxic the thinking trap is and how to escape it. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Power statements, how grateful are you? Letting go of negative thoughts, 5 rules to live by. So there's something I think for everybody in this book, and that's why I sort of picked it, because it wasn't just focused on one thing. It's focused on loads of different things that most people have the emotions through. So one of the other things he calls is a stick of rock. So imagine a stick of seaside rock, the type you find at the fairground. Now imagine at one end is the word Blackpool. There are people from Blackpool on here. You look at the other end and you see the same thing, Blackpool. But you notice that if you were to cut through the rock at any point, you will always see the word Blackpool as it runs through the centre of the rock. Now imagine that we have certain negative habits and behaviours which run similarly through your life. This thread of negativity there, it impacts on your entire being as it's ever present. So don't think of Blackpool as being negative, by the way. There's nothing wrong with Blackpool, it's just that because that was a stick of rock. Here's certain examples of behaviours that you may not be aware of yourself. So blaming, criticising, people pleasing, negative attitudes, mistrusting, feeling hard done by, victim identity, irresponsible, always devaluing yourself, always comparing yourself negatively with others, always focusing on worst case scenarios, never finishing things, oversensitive. So lots of behaviours and emotions there. A quick case study here. Look, Carol is a procrastinator. She puts everything off. Her favourite phrases are, I'll do it later, let me think about it. I'm not sure whether I'm to or not. So a lot of people feel that way and try and make excuses. So as a consequence, Karen often complains about a lack of progress in her business, and also asks about how tasks seem to take twice as long as other people. She bemoans her bad luck and perhaps I shouldn't be in business, she says, without being fully aware of her underlying bad habit. As a result, this is costing her customers and subsequently profits. So why is Carol putting everything off and delaying taking action? There could be numerous reasons, including fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, or the need to stay within her comfort zone. Hence, Carol's stick of rock includes procrastination. So there's a couple of exercises I thought that possibly we could do. And what I'm going to do is, well, I can't really take you to the toilet at the moment. Sorry, my 2-year-old has just asked me to take her for a poo. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a Facebook post so people don't have to write this down. But what would be good is if we could, maybe a few people would want to come back with answers to this at some point over the next maybe 2 weeks' time, rather than having a review of a club. Why don't we just review some of the exercises that we've challenged people to do? And this is one of them. So the answer to the following questions: make a decision to let go of something that you now feel you have to and can leave behind. It could be a bad habit that's costing you money, a behaviour, something people pleasing and so on. So what is critical for you to let go of is the first question. Second question to that would be, how does it impact on your life? Does it make you feel angry, helpless, give you headaches? What does it cost you so far in relationships, business growth, money, fitness, health, happiness? What will happen if you don't resolve this habit, thinking or behaviour? And what would be the impact on your life if you do let go? So it's quite heavy stuff, really, and that's what this book delves into. So as you go through every chapter, there's different case studies, different scenarios, and then there's different exercises. That's why I call it a sort of more of a toolkit than a proper read. But it'd be interesting to see if people want to have a go at that exercise, and maybe we'll come back in 2 weeks' time and have just an open forum about it. If people want to be honest about it and just see what they can do. So that's the book. It's called Let It Go. Can't get it right, I think, without it being the right way around. By David Raham. It's on Amazon. I think we put the link in the comments. I'll put the link on the Facebook post as well. I think it's £1 off at the moment, so whoopee. But there we go. So if people got other suggestions of books they would like to review or like us to look at or review, then great. I've got a whole host of mindset and books to go through, but yeah, it'd be great to get some feedback on it. So that's the initial opening of our book club. I hope it was interesting. I'm sorry I rattled through, because obviously it's, you know, it's 90 odd pages, so it's very hard to try and condense that down into 10 minutes. But so hopefully you got the general gist of it, and thanks for listening.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, if you want to buy the book, it's in the link there. It's not on Audible, unfortunately. I did look, it's not on there because I'm an Audible person. It's not on there, so I've had to buy it. So I've literally bought it myself. So yeah, it's great.